And we're live. What's happening, everybody? Ooh, John, Serge, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming so early. I hope you're still here, of course. So, welcome to day 6 of my 30-day storytelling journey explanation, whatever you want to call it. I did have to get new headphones. My headphones busted, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. Um, but yeah, so today I was thinking of talking about because we've talked about a bunch of things. If everyone's keeping up or checking stuff out, it's been um, one of the things that I'm talking about is specifically like the progression of my mental state throughout this has been part that's really making everything stick so far, right? So please, if you're just watching, like, share, subscribe. I am doing this journey to explain how I've lost 150 pounds. Uh, Mostly, well, from the beginning of the pandemic, I went into the pandemic over 450 pounds. And now, as of today, I was 300.2 pounds. Thank you. I'm glad I'm loud and clear. That would have been uncomfortable. But so things are progressing. I'm almost beating 300 pounds, which I've never done as an adult. Pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. Very, very much a big deal for me. And you know, it's little things that I've really noticed have made a difference because I think anyone who's ever had a little extra weight or anything has been of the feeling where it's like, okay, this time's gonna be different. This time's gonna be different, and something happens, something goes on, and it's one of the things that I was talking about before was um, there's certain things that have been different this time around. And I like it's kind of like each time I tried, something else came up and I was like, okay, I gotta figure out how to overcome that. And then something else, okay, and I gotta figure out how to overcome that, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And I've gotten to a point where something is making it stick. So I'm trying to use this as a way of explaining that whole situation. And one of the things of note, um, and that happened today, was knowing your limits. One of the things that I've seen from friends, myself, across the board, has been the idea that something will happen. Something like, say, you get sick, happens, an injury from working out or exercise, whatever, or at work, right? And when that happens, we kind of get the wind taken out of our sails, and we feel like we can't push forward because once we're held, because the mindset has always been, and I'm not saying it's not right, it's more so, well, I need to conserve my energy because I'm fighting an illness. Makes sense. That's how I do things. But now I've kind of made this system where it's like, okay, because I'm working with my limitations. Because yesterday we were talking about making your weaknesses strength, right? Because that's a hard thing to do. It's hard to manipulate yourself into creating strengths. We have our strengths and we have our weaknesses, and we kind of isolate them that way. So, what I've been doing has been trying to figure out my limitations and work within those boundaries. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive because a lot of the times what we say to ourselves is, you have to get out of your comfort zone, right? If you want to see growth, you got to get out of your comfort zone. And even like now, the whole 30-day countdown is to an adventure my wife and I have booked. Hey, what's up, Michael Bryan? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your support. But yeah, so like one of the staples has been, okay, if we're going to do that, we have to do things unlike we've done them before. Okay. So because, and this is the whole thing, and this is where it's kind of a tricky manipulation where we've done things a certain way up to this point, right? And this has gotten us here, but we want to get to that next level, that extra addition, that extra mile. So if we want to do that, then we have to do something different, right? Now the question is, what's different? How do we different and everything? Now, what I've been doing, and this is I found for myself really helped, was I started in my comfort zone. Easy weights, easy duration, easy repetition, easy time of the day, comfortable environment. Like every time I'm working out, I'll throw on a movie that I like. Like today was Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Great movie. I'll be honest with you, I watched it specifically for the Riders of Rohan to charge. That was it. That's what I wanted to see, and I did it. That was the reward at the end. Because it's about 2 hours into it, so it's kind of like, pow, it works so perfectly. But I know that I will look forward to something like that. I left an AA meeting to watch your show because you're much more intelligent and have better advice. I'm not disagreeing with that, and that's one of the things that I've been talking about with a friend who's much more entrepreneurial spirited than I am, and he's like, "Listen, man, you're giving good advice, and you're achieving so much." So I am working with him on possibly starting a mentorship program that I might actually do as something. So, but that's the whole idea was by creating a foundation in my comfort and my happy space. When I wanted to grow, it was instead of me being uncomfortable, I was like, oh, I'm ready for growth. And I know, like, one of the big things, and I'll be honest with you, was that losing so much weight. The question is, how am I going to maintain my strength? Because I was just on a show with some friends, and one of the things came up about how I have like ridiculously large hands. And I'm like, on stage, I describe them as a bushel of penis fingers because that's hilarious. Now, that being said, my arms have gotten much smaller, and I kind of feel like I'm like Mickey Mouse with my big clown hands. It's hilarious. But at the same time, I've started with lower weight to structure my core muscles so that I could be comfortable with my growth. Because how often you start a new exercise, you start something different, and it hurts. Oh, maybe I injured myself. And I'm like, listen, I do my stuff with a couple of bands, um, two 20-pound dumbbells, which for myself are not a lot of weight, right? But I'm using it in abstract ways to make sure I get more effect. And then I also have a couple of wristbands that are 2 kilos each. Those little bits of things have helped me. Like I'm doing it every day, has kind of helped me push forward step by step, where I'm comfortable. Thanks, Michael Bryan. I would join the mentorship program. Is there a way that I can pay in jokes because money is pretty much farm labor, maybe? Uh, but that's like for me. How many times have we heard? Oh, you got to get out of your comfort zone. That's the key. And I say, look, my last job, I treat it like a gym that pays me. Absolutely. And that's especially, I remember growing up, my father had a machine shop. So we would build machines, work with steel. And that's what you had to do was like, I would make a game out of it so that I was doing repetitions with doing things, tightening a bolt, doing this, setting this up, moving this, you twisting, twist. Those little extra things made life easier, not only on my mind, but also developing my muscle because you'll hear this from so many people where it's like, oh, just pulling down on one. Like I remember we were doing one job where we had to drill 6 holes in on a piece. The piece itself was 4 kilos. So you had one arm was lifting them and the other one was drilling down. Okay, you moved it, drill it down, drill it down, drill it down. Okay, now next piece. Okay, next piece. And you're going now, those repetitive movements, so much pain in the ass, so much pain. But we would alternate different machines, different things, different ways of doing things. Slowly, worked a little different. Slowly, we understood how we had to counter ourselves. We understood how we had to deal with ourselves. Because let's be honest, that comes back to that idea of being surrounded by people, even people that love you, yet feeling alone. For me, it was a motivator. For me, it helped me fuel that desire to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. Because look, I was 500 pounds. Yeah, I know I was over 450, but there's a very good possibility I was over 500. That being said, I was incapable of existing on my own. And that hurts to the point where you're self conscious, you're frustrated, angry, even. It's not an easy thing. But by working in my comfort instead of outside of my comfort, it helped because I was able to rely on myself in a happy way, right? Because think about it, how disappointing it is when we let look, when somebody else lets us down, maybe we'll have some patience, maybe, but we feel bad. But then how much more so when we let ourselves down, we feel, oh, what's the point? Why am I even bothering? That's not fair either. And that's why one of the things that I really learned was if we start in our comfort zone, that's the idea. That's where we can take a first step of being okay. Would you say, Michael Bryan, was I lost the movie deal last night and it felt like the biggest absolutely. And what happened first thing this morning? Got a different movie deal and we start filming tomorrow and it's a party because of our positive energy. I felt like dog shit last night and this morning I woke up a pimp. Exactly. See that? And that's the thing is that I'm going to cover that coming up soon. So some of the things that we're going to be talking about is number one, holding your head up high. Number two, your character. Number three, things like letting other people dictate how you feel. All factors which I did talk about yesterday. So all factors that come into play. So please like, share, subscribe, send it to other people, tell them to come listen in. I'm doing my best to go 10 p.m. on a daily basis. I'm going to have some wiggle room just because, as you guys know, my brother passed recently, and that's very important that I'm present for those items. So um, thank you all for watching today. But that's what I wanted to tell today was specifically idea of starting in your comfort and growing at a rate that isn't dictated by others by yourself has been one of the huge factors. So my name is Neil the Genetic Marvel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with more information on my journey of 30 days on how I lost 150 pounds. Have a great night, everybody.